Ja, vi har ett tema den här veckan som heter Ge tillbaka. Människor som har gått igenom starka problem, historier, svårigheter, tagit sig över dem och sen använder sin erfarenhet för att hjälpa andra. En av dem har jag bjudit in och det här är nog svårt kanske för oss att förstå. Men i Afrika, i vissa delar av Afrika, i de länder vi ska prata om nu är det Rwanda och Uganda. Där är det fara för livet om man kommer ut och berättar att man är homosexuell. Och jag har bjudit in Naome Ruzindana. Sorry. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
You live here now?
Yes, I live here in Gävle.
In Gävle
since 2002.
A lot of years now, 10 years, or 12 years now.
No, 2012.
2012, I'm
yes.
sorry.
Okay,
right. 2 years. But you grew up in Rwanda.
I actually grew up in Uganda. I was born in Uganda and grew up in Uganda. But after the genocide, after the rebellion of my country, I went back to Rwanda.
To Rwanda. And then you spent most of your grown-up life before you left there. You married.
Yes.
You got 2 children. And you lived a heterosexual life. And worked in a bank. So what happened? When did you decide to come out, sort of?
Yes, I lived. It was a kind of disguising life. When I was in that heterosexual life, I was trying to see if I could really fit there and stay there, actually, because it was a big problem for me to come out. It was a big problem for me to say I'm gay in a very sensitive community like Rwanda, in a very small country where they talk a lot about norms and culture. So I decided to get married and have kids, but in the long run, I realized I was just faking my life and wasting the time of my husband that time. So I just let myself free and let him free. I decided to
And
walk
then
away.
you officially came out, and it was brave, and I don't think people understand what a risk you really took.
Oh,
did you do it in an interview or?
Yes, yes. It was actually organized by Amnesty International. One of their chief in Uganda called me and said, "Hey, Naome, there is a lady here. She works with the Voice of America and should like to speak to you. Is that okay with you?" So I took that as an advantage because I told her that I would love to speak in my mother tongue so that the whole nation would understand my point and why I have decided to come out. So I spoke in Kinyarwanda, and it was Voice of America. It is always listened by almost Rwandan in the morning. It is broadcasting every morning at 6 o'clock.
So what happened afterwards?
It wasn't live because when I did it, I traveled out of the country. So it was actually played when I wasn't in the country. And the first person that had the information was my big brother, who called my mother and told her to tune in to listen to the news. So he did not tell my mother what it was, but he requested him to listen to the news, that it was very urgent. So Mama listened to the news, and what she heard was her daughter talking of lesbianism and how it started and how she is coming out to the nation. So it was a big challenge to deal with.
And a big scandal in your family and in the society. What happened to you? Because you were threatened in different ways. Could you describe what happened to you?
Yes, at first it was a big. It was taken as a big blunder to my family, because they all started calling each other, because we're a big family, we're extended family. I have cousins, I have many brothers and sisters and all that. So they all called each other and started talking and started calling my phone. Then my mother told them I wasn't in the country. Then they started looking for my children, discussing that they shouldn't allow my children to come back to their homes and all that. So by the time I returned to Rwanda, it was a big, big scandal. I actually got the information from airport by the people that came to pick me up. And yes, I said I must face everyone that wants to hear. Then when they knew that I arrived, some of my aunties who lived in a village came and wanted to go to the national radio station to denounce me. So it was a big scandal. My mother refused that they cannot do that. She said Naome is a very stubborn girl. If you do that, she's going to do the other. So it is going to be a big scandal. You rather keep quiet and maybe we ask her within our family, but don't make it public. But then that woman refused and mobilized other old women to go to the to the radio. I actually don't know what happened, because they never got the attention at the radio. So that one died on the way. I don't know what happened. Then another scandal within the family started going around. Then the newspapers also came up and started writing about me. Within no time, the Minister of Integrity and Youth also went to the big TV and said we do not have homosexuals in Rwanda. So it was a mix of lots of things.
So how did you cope with this? Because you kind of became a voice for people that are LGBTs.
Yeah, I continued. I left the country and went and hid in Uganda for some years. And
you left your children as well?
Yes.
You had to?
Yes, I had to. I couldn't live with them. Actually, most of the times that I was in and out, they were living with my mother and changing schools and all that. So I went to Uganda and started disguising and looked for LGBT people in Uganda. So we worked together and
You kind of tried to create a new family.
Yes.
But how did you feel? I mean, family or extended family is so important in Africa.
I felt so horrible, but I decided to stay, because if I freaked out, then it wouldn't have become important to people that I had stood for. So I stayed. Even before I started coming out to my family, I had come out to people that I was looking to working with. They were also against it. They thought that I'm a government spy. So nobody was accepting me that I am real.
If you would describe how dangerous it is to go out and say that I'm an LGBT person in those countries, what would you say? What do you?
It is very dangerous.
In what way?
One may be killed. One may be jailed, one may be hit by any public person. Because
and you have been hit?
I have not been hit, but I have been arrested at airport for 6 hours in a very dark room and interrogated by many people and taken to the high head offices of migration and explained everything.
We also have a picture from a funeral. What happened to one of your friends? He was gay.
Yes, he was gay, and he was one of the strongest activists in Uganda, and he had worked hard towards the bill that was being passed at that time, and all of a sudden he was killed. So at the funeral it was really horrible, because the pastors that were brought to to pray for the dead body turned against us and started abusing and started reading verses of Sodom and Gomorrah, of telling us how we are going to perish if we don't get saved from homosexuality.
And the pictures we saw was from the funeral where you were mourning.
Yes.
Was this kind of the thing that made you go to Sweden and try to stay or leave, really, Rwanda?
It was lots
Uganda.
of things actually that prompted my departure from Africa. First, it was my family and I were not on good terms for so many years because of that. My family is pro-government and I was anti-government because of injustices that were caused by the government. And even where I had gone to hide in Uganda, they had started outing me. I was on TV, I was in media. I was evicted by my landlord several times. Then after the death of David Kato, I started getting death threats on my telephone. So all those prompted my departure.
You were kind of outcast in these countries. You left your children, but they are here now with you. But you went to Gävle, where you've spent now 2 years, and you have you're the founder of an organization with the name Find Hope. What is that?
Find Hope is actually Find Hope. It is giving hope to those that have lost hope from their country, from their families, from living again, thinking it is very difficult.
LGBT people.
LGBT people, mostly.
Refugees.
Yes. Youth and refugees that are still struggling to get their permission to stay in Sweden. Those that have gotten the permission but they haven't gotten their children, all haven't gotten job, all think they are isolated. So Find Hope was created in that way to bring people together, to defend them, to speak about the challenges.
Could you tell us one of the stories of these refugees that you have been helping and people you meet? Could you pick one story?
Yes, I have met several refugees, asylum, LGBT asylum seekers, and many of them, they have common question where they feel that migration is not believing in their stories. They think they are forging stories, they think they are lying, they think they are here for green pastures. Yet some of them are really, really activists that are leaving their countries for safety. So it somehow makes them feel very, very sad that some authorities do not believe their stories.
Have you any story that you could tell us?
Yes, of course I have. I have so many stories, but maybe my own experience was the time I was being actually harassed by migration to leave their camp in Kiruna. I got my papers very fast and I was rushed to get out of the house. And then where I was being put was another house that had other people, so it became a challenge for me. I couldn't leave a camp and go to the other camp, because in this camp I was very disguising. I never told the people I'm gay, so I kept disguising and lying because I didn't want again to face discrimination in that very house.
Do you feel that you can help these refugees?
Yes, yes.
Is it by giving them hope?
Not only hope, we have actually gone down and identified friendly lawyers that are supporting them in their cases.
Who knows about the conditions in their home countries?
Exactly, exactly. And we have identified interpreters who are not homophobic. Some interpreters are very homophobic.
Which is important that there is the right person.
And they had made the cases to fail. If I come from a very homophobic state and I'm defending a gay person, definitely that mind will always be biased. So we have also tried to identify people that are not homophobic.
Thank you so much, Naome, and good luck with your important work.
Thank you. Thank you.
Find Hope heter alltså organisationen om ni vill läsa mer.